Have you ever looked at a stock and wondered if it's actually healthy, or if it just looks good on the surface? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're taking a stock, OTF, and giving it a full technical checkup. Think of us as financial doctors, here to diagnose its health, check its vitals, and see if it's in fighting shape. So that's the big question on the table. Is this stock healthy? To figure that out, we're not just going to glance at a price chart. Oh no, we are going to run a whole series of tests, look at all the vital signs, and give you a full, proper diagnosis. Let's get started. All right, first things first, every good checkup has to start with an initial consultation, right? We need to get a feel for the patient. So what's our first impression of OTF? Let's get that big picture diagnosis right off the bat. And yeah, the initial results are in, and they look really good. At a price of $14.57, the diagnosis is a confirmed uptrend, or what we call a bull market. A huge reason for this is that the stock is trading above its key long-term moving averages. You can think of those averages as its baseline health, and right now, it's performing well above that baseline. That's a classic sign of strength. Now, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, a bull market is pretty simple. It just means that prices have been heading up and up pretty consistently. It shows that investors are optimistic, they're confident, and they're buying. It's basically the definition of a healthy, positive trend. Okay, so what about the patient's personality, its temperament? Well, OTFF has a beta of just 0.222. And in the stock world, that is incredibly low. It means this stock doesn't really get stressed out by all the day-to-day drama of the wider market. It's what you'd call a defensive, low-volatility stock that kind of marches to the beat of its own drum. A very calm patient. All right, with that general diagnosis looking solid, it's time to dig a little deeper and check the vital signs. Is the internal strength really there to support this healthy-looking exterior? Let's pop the hood and take a look. And wow, this is a fantastic sign right here. We're looking at a measure of money flow, which is exactly what it sounds like. It tracks if money is moving into or out of the stock. Think of it as the stock's heartbeat, and this big positive number tells us that a strong, steady flow of money, real buying pressure, is what's pushing the price up. The heartbeat is strong. This table really paints a clear picture of that strength. You see the current price sitting right at the top, above all its recent averages. Now, it's not a perfect textbook sequence, but this kind of stacking order is a classic bullish setup. It's like all the systems are working together, telling us that the buyers are absolutely in the driver's seat right now. So, the vitals look great, but is this just a quick burst of energy? A sugar rush? Or is there some deep, sustainable strength under the surface? For that, we need to run a proper internal exam on the stock's momentum. First step in our momentum tests is the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. This basically measures how fast the price is moving, and as you can see, it's in a really great spot. It's solidly in bullish territory, but it's still got a ways to go before it hits that overbought line. This tells us the stock has plenty of power, but also more room to run before it gets winded. And here's the confirmation we were looking for. This is the MACD indicator, and it's flashing a clear buy signal. See how that blue line is positive and pulling away from the red one? That tells us the upward momentum isn't just there, it's actually getting stronger. It's accelerating. Okay, so far so good. Everything looks fantastic, right? A clean bill of health. But in any thorough checkup, you have to look really close for things that might not be so obvious. And during our exam, we found something. A little something that calls for a bit of caution. Now, this quote comes from a much deeper dive into the really short-term indicators. And while the overall trend is definitely strong, there's this hidden signal suggesting the stock might be, well, a little tired. That maybe it's run a bit too far, a bit too fast in the short term. Here's Exhibit A. We're looking at something called the stock RSI. It's a super sensitive indicator. Think of it like the tachometer on a race car. And right now, it has hit 100. It is maxed out. When that happens, it's like a sprinter hitting their absolute top speed. They just can't keep it up forever. It suggests the stock is showing some real signs of short-term exhaustion. And here is Exhibit B. Based on some statistical analysis of its recent moves, the stock is currently trading almost 7% above what you'd call its fair value. Now, that doesn't mean the trend is over, not at all, but it does mean the odds are higher for a small pullback, for the stock to just catch its breath and come back down to earth a little. So, let's put it all together. We've got a strong, healthy patient that just might be a little out of breath at the moment. What does that mean for the future? It's time to combine all these test results and give our final prognosis. So what's the prescription? Well, it really all comes down to watching two key price levels. Think of the support at $14.48 as the safety net. We really want to see the price stay above that level. And then there's the resistance at $14.66. That's the next hurdle it needs to clear. A solid break above that would be a great sign that it's ready for the next leg up. So here are the final doctor's orders. The overall trend, undeniably healthy and bullish. The patient itself is stable, but doesn't panic easily. But we absolutely have to watch for that short-term fatigue. Honestly, a brief rest, a small dip back towards that 1448 support would actually be a very healthy thing. The bullish outlook is totally safe as long as we stay above that $14 mark. And that really leaves us with our final question. The long-term prognosis looks great, but right now, today, the patient is showing all the signs of being a little tired, a little overextended. So, what's it going to do? Will it take a healthy rest to gather its strength, or does it have enough in the tank to just power through and keep on running? That's what we'll be watching.